I think that particularly for us in our cultural context, I think because from a standpoint of identity, because we with sort of the fall of denominationalism and the rise of kind of non-denominationalism, kind of independent churches, things like that. So many of us come from backgrounds where we lack Christian identity, we lack Christian heritage, and there's a sense in which if you think of like the popularity of like 23andMe and stuff like that, and just kind of like how in a broader
Mm,
cultural sort of standpoint, we don't really know where we come from, and people are hungry to have some kind of sense of, I come from, turns out I'm from Bulgaria. Great. Like now I know, or whatever happens to be. Like we're so cut off from the past that we don't have the resources with which to go and to interpret the present in any kind of like continuous way with, where we've come from. And so I think that impulse that you find with things like 23andMe, I think that we have that as Christians as well. And in some ways, I would say even more strongly, where just at this particular, cultural moment, we have no idea who we are, where we came from, and whether we're from a Reformed tradition, a Lutheran tradition, kind of all over the place. We don't really know what our heritage is. We don't really know what our past is, and I think that that's one of the things that is really fantastic about learning about the early church and studying the early fathers is no matter what background you're from denominationally, if you have a Bible, this is where you got it from. These are the people who gave it to you. If you have any kind of basic creed, the Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed, anything like that, this is where it came from. These are your people. This is your family heritage. And so there's a sense in which there's an inheritance and there's a lineage that all of us have that we're estranged from. And I just find for myself and from the people who have interacted with who kind of been on a similar path, just getting in touch with that past is so rich and so life giving. You just find there's so much more there than you ever could have imagined. So that's for me. I mean, I have a passion about that, and just kind of sharing during this folks and stuff, and just saying, hey, look, this is yours. If you are a Christian in any kind of sort of Bible observant sense whatsoever, this is yours. This is the people who gave it to you, and they have what they have to say, both in their lives and examples, and then in the way that they've gone and passed on the interpretation of Scripture. This is all meant to be yours. This is
mm,
the if we are use Rome the line from Romans 11 that Paul goes and uses. If we're sort of this wild olive shoot that's grafted onto the rich kind of root of Israel, we have that, but so we're into that tree, but we individually we're kind of these far off branches that most of us don't know how it was that we ended up getting to this tree, besides somewhere way down. I guess we're told that Paul tells us it happens. And no, like you're grafted into this whole thing here, this living chain of witnesses that have gone and given you what you have so far, and what you in your own context have experienced to be true. So uh yeah, being in touch with that and actually seeing, well, this is how I'm connected with it all is it's pretty life changing experience. It's pretty awesome.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out this video clip from the Delgado podcast. To get more videos like this, simply subscribe here on YouTube. You can also download the full episode of each show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or your favorite podcast player. Take care.